Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Beyond Languages Reach podcast. Something like that. Today, I'm going to read something that I wrote recently, as promised. And very recently, I wrote it just an hour or so ago. And I don't know, I found myself thinking a little bit about community. This is based on some stuff I've both read and been talking about in conversations recently. So, yeah. I'll just dive into it. What I'm going to do, as I do with every episode, is read a passage of prose that I've written and then play a bit of music inspired by that piece of prose. Today, it's not fiction. It's, I don't know what it is. We'll see. You can tell me what you think it is in the comments. I encourage you to subscribe if you like this sort of thing. Tell your friends. And here we are. I've been fortunate over the past few years to have found a wonderful community of musicians here in the Blue Mountains. I really have. There's a lot of amazing talent around and plenty of free shows to see if you like live music. And in my opinion, live music is something everyone should experience with some frequency. I mean, each to their own, but yeah, it's a completely different animal from recorded or streamed music, and it's just you're part of it. I think that's the main thing. But for me, the community of music here in the Blue Mountains, it's not just about witnessing wonderful musicianship, which is great, but it's the people. And I attend a local open mic nearly every week, and it's become my main social outlet. I've met so many cool people there. And sure, many of us go there to play music, to try out new songs or tunes. But besides that, we often just sit around talking about whatever's on our minds. One of the open mics I go to, the main one, is it takes place in a pub, so it's quite conducive to that. Anyway, I'm very appreciative of the opportunity, and I've met some really cool people, like I said. I guess it's sort of become a bit of a tribe for me. After so many years of not socially engaging with the world outside of family, it's a new experience in many ways, and I'm loving it. Has its challenges, of course. I used to think that I would be perfectly happy hiking off into the wilderness by myself, or perhaps canoeing off. Either never to be seen again, or with plans to only occasionally dip my toes back into society. Just live in the great beyond. Robinson Crusoe. Only there by choice. But, yeah, no one else around. Just get as far away from human insanity as possible. Re-establish contact between my heart and the real world. The real world. A lot of people talk about the real world and what they mean as society. You know, when you get out in the real world, you'll learn what it is to work and, you know, have responsibilities. And that's all true. That is the real world we live in. Absolutely. But for any of you who have had the experience of being in the wilderness for any length of time, and by wilderness I mean beyond the roads, past where they end, not around other people, then you will have experienced what I'm talking about. Society, being around other humans, Some of it, so much of it is, mental constructs, of course, too, but even just the physical things of it. I think it obscures much of the universe from our senses. And I'm not even just talking about light pollution. That's something too, of course, but it makes us forget where we came from. We are social animals. We really are. And our world is society. Our world, the real world where we live, is among other humans. But we have become quite detached. Sounds a bit cliche, but it's quite true. And if you have a chance, have the fortune to experience the world beyond humanity, which is, though it may not seem it, it is the much larger world, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the real world. We've separated ourselves from it as if in a dream. And I wonder if sometimes wonder if that's what some of these philosophers, ancient philosophers said about, meant when they said that, life is a dream. Maybe that's what they're talking about, how we have separated ourselves from nature. Anyway, that was a tangent. Re-establish contact between my heart and the real world. I'm talking about getting off into the wilderness, the world of other Earth residents besides Homo sapiens. Rediscover our roots. Get back in touch with the land, with the flow of things. So that's what I used to think I wanted to do, strike off into the wilderness. But that was before I realized two things. Number one, that it is a rare person who can attain peace with such an extreme degree of solitude and isolation. And number two, which is part of the reason for number one, that I would surely bring my human insanity with me. So that effort would be defeated before I even began. As my father used to quote, "Wherever you go, there you are." I still long to strike off on my own, venture over horizon after horizon, be completely self-sufficient, live off the land. Learn a kindness that it seems we always forget when we are around other humans, no matter how peacefully we might get along. Humans are cruel. We have evolved to kill. The flat power of our fists proves it. It evolved to be hard. The cunning complexity of our ability and, I dare say, propensity to lie proves it. Studies done on bias show that a certain part of our brains lights up when we are shown a photograph that contains a human face. And that part of the brain only lights up when there is a human face, no matter how small, in the photograph. It is a fight or flight response. It's not a friendly, harmonious one. The part of the brain doesn't light up for those feelings or for those situations. We are hardwired for war, for conflict, for danger, for getting out of the danger, for resolving the danger, using whatever is necessary. And for humans, the most dangerous thing in the world, as proved by those studies, is not weather or other animals, but other humans. They represent a threat. When not around humans, or at least humans who are not of our family or clan, we seem to relax. We open our eyes and ears and hearts to other creatures, animals, plants, inanimate objects, even spirits, if you believe in that sort of thing. I'm not trying to say people can't get along. Far from it. One of the biggest accomplishments of Homo sapiens and our ancestors is to realize, using our massive big brains, that we can learn to control that fight or flight urge. We can learn to coexist in peace. We can build communities, societies, with well thought out policies tested over time that serve the greater good. We don't always get it right. It's seldom we get it right, to be fair. It's easy to think, fuck this shit. Humans are worthless. Society is an unsalvageable and irredeemable mess. I'm out of here. And then either strike off into the wilds or do something similar by consolidating, forming an insular and insulated community with family or friends or people of like minds and values. It is always so tempting to join such groups because most people don't like conflict. Difference of opinion is challenging to deal with, and life is short. Why spend time and energy on people you don't like? Or on people with different values? Better just to build a walled community and protect what's yours from the chaos of the world, right? Put your kids in a safe school with predictable, stable classes and keep them out of harm's way, yeah? No. When we isolate ourselves, we cease to learn. Society is only as good as its members who are suffering the most. So separating ourselves from them is nothing but a lie. Instead, we should employ our big primate brains to do the counterintuitive thing. Embrace difference. With variety, we thrive. Why? Because different people from different backgrounds and, yes, even with different values, have different experiences. That diversity, that variety of experience and knowledge, and our exposure to it, it enriches us. It makes society better, but it also makes each of us better as individuals. Learning about difference is not just an intellectual exercise. It expands our minds, teaches us valuable new skills, including how to cope with fundamental differences. We don't learn stuff like that by sticking our heads in the sand or by disappearing solo into the wilderness. That's where my piece of prose ends. I guess I would add that a lot of people would argue with what I just said, and rightfully so, because it's incomplete. When talking about people with fundamentally different values, that's a very complex subject. I've heard a lot of people say recently, yeah, but you know what? That's where I draw the line, and those people can go get fucked. Right? Pardon my language. And to a certain extent, I do agree with that. I've felt that emotion many times. We're living in a very crazy world right now. And we are quite divided. And those thoughts occur repeatedly. I guess I would say that while I do agree, there are certain lines that I can't tolerate either. There are certain things that my tolerance reaches its limits, absolutely. But if I completely isolate myself from the people who have those values, then A, as I've mentioned, I'm not going to learn what they've learned in life, and not everything that SOB has learned is crap, no matter how much I disagree with his or her values. There is something to learn from that person, something of value. But not only that, by wiping that person from my existence, from my life, by refusing to engage anymore with a person like that, and I would add that we all are like that. By refusing to engage with someone, I am eliminating from my mind the possibility that that person might change. I like to believe that all of us at heart are good and want good things for ourselves and for each other. We disagree on how best to get there, but for most of us the intention is there. Sorry, this helicopter's been circling. It's come back. I'll try to get a bit louder. Just edited it out. I don't know if they're searching for someone or if that's part of the bushfire watch. We're in a very dry, hot period right now. The bushfire is very hot. Danger is very hot. Sorry for the interruptions. If I refuse to engage with someone I don't agree with, then I am not accepting or refusing to accept the possibility that that person might grow or change. I don't mean to come off sounding condescending or like my point of view is better than that person I disagree with. I don't mean to convey that at all. I think I'm just trying to give an example. If we all have the attitude of I draw a line there, I won't engage with people like that, well then we're all going to be in isolated little communities and clusters. It's good to have community. It's part of who we are. As much as I would love to just be completely independent and isolated and alone and live off the land and get in touch with the greater world, I recognize that I am human and we need each other. It is good to form communities. Local communities are great. But it is also important for us to communicate and engage beyond our isolated communities and not let them become so isolated. And if they have, reestablish contact. I think that in this day and age we are in, especially, it's quite important. I don't know how to do it. Work in progress. I think it's a work in progress for us all. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'm going to play a little bit of music now. I might be better with words than notes sometimes, than with notes. With notes than with words sometimes. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to improvise this. We'll call it Helicopter. There we go, helicopter. And I hope if someone is missing, they get found soon and they're all right. Um, that I was also thinking a little bit about community and inevitably due to where that piece of prose led, conflict. While I played that piece, you might have heard it. It was a little bit edgy, a little bit awkward and stilted, not so relaxed. It is cool playing this flute though. This is my old flute. I don't play it as often anymore. This is one that Jason Krekel gave to me many, many years ago. Someone left it at his house who had crashed there, and he didn't have contact information for the person, and he held on to it for over a year or two, and finally, my old flute, which it had this, it had a lot of problems, and one of them was the foot joint was so loose. I actually was playing a show one night, and I got a little too into it. I came up to do a solo, and I went like this, and the foot joint flew over and smacked George Pond right in the head. Sorry, George. So anyway, that and other problems were happening, and I wasn't making a lot of money, so doing a major fix of the flute wasn't really a realistic option. And Jason knew it, and he said, "Want a flute?" And he told me about it, and that's this flute. So whoever you are who left your flute at Jason Krekel's house, if you want it, it's yours. But yeah, I like the tone of this flute. It's very different. It's got a I don't want to say tinny or timbre because that sounds like a negative thing, but it's neat. It's got more of a sharp edge rather than the smoother, rounder one of notes when I play my newer flute. So that's me rambling quite a bit. Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of the Beyond Languages Reach podcast. If you would like to learn more about me, you can go to my website, www.otherspect.com. I write and I play music, and this podcast is how I combine those two passions. Also, of course, please feel free to subscribe or comment. Whether you are listening to this as an audio podcast or viewing it as video, I am thrilled to have any and all engagement from you, and I'm honored that you have decided to tune in. And thank you very much, and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.